All right, I'm back with Matt for another movie podcast. We have Spider-Man: A Brand New Day today, our last summer movie podcast. What a great summer it's been in movies.
It's been the best summer of movies I can remember. Box office is through the roof. People are going to the movies. The movies that are being produced are well received and really strong for the most part compared to like last year, the last few years. It's been awesome. It's been an awesome movie summer.
Yeah, it's been great. So last one, at least for us, right? There's nothing else that we have coming up in August, at least I'm aware of.
For us, nothing in August. I'm trying to think if there's anything coming up before the fall, before the winter, before Dune.
I mean, I think the next time we do a podcast, unless something kind of hits in popular culture, would be the Dune 3 Avengers Doomsday weekend, which is going to be one of the biggest weekends in box office history. But that's not till December. So this might be our last one for a few months again, unless something strikes between now and then.
Yeah. We'll find an excuse. Well, Emmy's coming up. Emmy's coming up in a month.
Yeah.
So
we'll figure it out. But so I saw Spider-Man: Brand New Day last night. Went at 8:15 in a very small theater, but I think they were still showing it in 2 or 3 theaters. It was like one of the smallest theaters it could possibly be. I sat in the front because that was like the seat that made sense, and I had a great time. It was pretty full too. When did you see it? Right after it came out?
I went, I think the Monday or Tuesday after it came out. It came out on the 28th of July. And I went, and it was 4 showings happening all within a 30-minute window of one another, 4 different theaters. All of them were pretty much sold out. Thank goodness I went by myself because I got a last-minute ticket, and that was the only way I was able to get like a decent ticket because there were some solo tickets here and there. But man, this movie, I was surprised at how much money it made. It was incredible.
I didn't look at the box office. Actually, what is it? Are we like over $1 billion at this point? A couple weeks in? It must be.
It has to be.
Yeah, it might be like, this might be like a top 10 movie ever at this point, or at least when it's all said and done box office wise. So I was blown away by the performance, but it just shows, man, Spider-Man sells. People love Spider-Man.
This is a huge win for Marvel, who has had a lot of like misses lately, especially from a box office standpoint. And then pairing this with the Odyssey, which came out, just a week or 2 before this, their opening weekend was like the combined, when they were overlapping, was one of the biggest opening weekend ever. So it was, we mentioned it at the top of the show, but like a huge box office year and 2 well-received, really good movies in my opinion.
Tom Holland is in both of those movies, so he's feeling it right now.
As is Zendaya.
Yeah, that's right. I forget that she's in it. Smaller role in the Odyssey, but yeah, I mean, those guys, those 2, geez, bro, they're like A-list at this point. Some of the biggest stars in the world at this point.
Yeah, Tom Holland, good for him. I'm so team Tom Holland, and we'll get to that later. But yeah, it was shocking. Because do you want to talk about your relationship with Spider-Man and all before we dive in to the categories?
Yeah, let's talk about it, dude. Like, why don't you start? I'm happy to share my thoughts overall on Spider-Man, but
Spider-Man is the one that, that movie, the first one with Tobey Maguire and William Dafoe, was that movie kicked off this era of superhero movies. Those movies with Tobey, the first 2 specifically, were unbelievable movies. Must see in the movie theater. Really took it to the next level. And 25 years later or whatever, he's still the most popular superhero because of the family aspect of him. He's a superhero movie that you can bring your young kids to, unlike Batman or Superman even too. He's so relatable and likable and stuff.
Yeah, he's just like anybody. It's just like a normal person that becomes a superhero, and he doesn't have that dark side that Batman has. Not the alien like Superman is. I mean, those are the big 3 in my opinion: Superman, Batman, and Spider-Man. But Spider-Man just has a more grounded feel to him, and obviously box office agrees. And I think he's probably the number 1 superhero at this point.
Absolutely. I got my 5-year-old daughter is obsessed with Spider-Man. We watched 3 different iterations of Spider-Man in our household. Spidey and His Amazing Friends on Disney, this other cartoon Disney, and the one we've been watching is Into the Spider-Verse, which is probably my favorite Spider-Man on repeat here. And it's it just translates to both young and old, and it's just an awesome superhero character.
What were your thoughts on the movie overall?
I love this movie. I don't know where it ranks. It probably ranks, I've thought really hard about, number 2 for the Tom Holland movies. I think Homecoming is still 1 for me because I was so just taken back by Tom Holland's performance in it. I thought Michael Keaton, the reveal in the car, when he made the connection that Peter
That was so
Parker
good.
was such an awesome scene. Or when Peter knocked on the door and he answered the door for the prom date thing was so good. So Homecoming is very special to me, but this is probably my second favorite Tom Holland Spider-Man movie. I don't know where it ranks in all the Spider-Man stuff, but this was I enjoyed this movie thoroughly.
Yeah, it's hard to rank them over the course of the Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and then Tom Holland series of Spider-Man movies. Like, I haven't given it thought in that level, but I would say it's number 2, Tom Holland Spider-Man, in my opinion. I thought it was way better than what I was expecting. I think the reviews that I saw were just that it was like a good Spider-Man movie, but I really, really enjoyed it. I would say it was a great movie. So,
and all 4 of them are good. Yeah, not like even like the one that would rank the least is Far From Home with Mysterio. Jake Gyllenhaal was still like a really awesome movie that was more him and Tony Stark and stuff. And then No Way Home, the last one, but well, like in the moment, that was a movie that came out like kind of like in the thick of COVID. I remember that would be, I think, the first movie we saw in the theaters, and it had like that cheering moment when Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire came in, which you knew was coming. And that was probably the highest of highs of any of the Spider-Man movie.
yeah.
I have issues with that movie for other reasons, but like that high, it was so good. So, all these movies are great. And Marvel needed this so bad going into Doomsday.
That's funny because you say Marvel, and it is Marvel, but it really is a Sony movie.
They do it together, but Marvel needs it. So it needs Tom Holland, it needs Spider-Man.
Well, I think coming into Avengers Doomsday in a few months, like, this is great. This is like a great sign for that. I don't know what Spider-Man's involvement in that movie is. I assume he has it to some degree, at least a small part. I mean, a lot of the characters are going to be in that movie, but I think this is a great way, like, to end the summer on a high box office wise with this great movie. I'm sure people are really excited for Doomsday now coming out of this.
That's the thing. Honestly, my excitement level for Doomsday pre-Spider-Man was very low. I could not get into it. I'm like, watching this, it made me remember why I really love these movies. Why we love, the 23 that led up to the Avengers, Infinity War, and then Endgame. This was Marvel at its best. And now between that paired with the new Doomsday trailer that just released a week ago, I'm like, hey, Marvel, you got me back, baby. I'm getting fired up for that.
Okay, so in the movie theater last night, they showed the Dune 3 trailer and then the Avengers Doomsday trailer, and I was thinking, which one am I going to go see first? Like, where are you at with that right now?
It's so crazy to think, but there is like no doubt in my mind Dune 3 is like...
Yeah, still, that hasn't changed.
No, it's still Dune. If I were to pick a movie, I have to go see Dune 3 picks one. It's just a better movie. You know what I mean? Like, I love the superhero element of it and that sort of stuff, but like Dune 3 could be an Academy Award movie. It's like that universe. Denis Villeneuve is such at the peak of his powers right now with filmmaking and stuff, and Dune 2 was so good. I don't know, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I definitely, I was like 90% Dune 3, 10% Avengers, and I'm probably 75% Dune 3 at this point. I'm just saying, like, I'm a little bit hooked into the Marvel stuff. That trailer for Avengers Doomsday was very interesting, but I'm probably still going to go see Dune 3 first. And plus, it's in IMAX. But that might be a scenario, though, at least I was thinking last night, that maybe I do try to get tickets for Dune 3, like, opening night, opening weekend, and Avengers, like, that Monday or something, and see those two movies as soon as I possibly can, because I can't imagine staying off of social media and YouTube for that long. There's going to be so much content about both of those movies. It's going to be the story for at least a couple of weeks through the holidays. So I do want to see them as quick as possible when they both come out.
It will be interesting because, Dune has the IMAX market. You know what I mean? So Dune, all those movies are in all the IMAX screens. You know what I mean?
That's dude. I love going to see the movies in IMAX. Like, being in that small theater, there's probably 20 seats in there. And it was fine. It's fine. It's not that much different than watching a movie in my basement, to be completely honest with you. But, like, seeing movies in IMAX is the best. So, like, that's another feather in the cap for Dune 3.
It makes me want to do a little bit more homework. I got to go watch, what's it called? The hell's the Florence Pugh Thunderbolts. Like, I got to see Thunderbolts. That's one I have to see before. I'd like to see Captain America before the new Captain America one, too. I don't know if I will. But I got to do a little more homework on some Avengers stuff
leading up. So if you were interested, I did fall asleep last night. So that's a little bit of a bummer. I fell asleep for probably like 10, 12 minutes. I missed a good amount of stuff. I missed. It was in the very beginning. It was like, I think the Spider-Man like montage about fighting a bunch of people.
So you like fell asleep the first like 5 minutes of the movie that started, and you're like, all right, yeah, I'm into this. And you fell asleep.
I'm so fired up. It's an 8:15 movie. It's not that late, but I was very comfortable. And I woke up and like I was like, shit, I think I just missed the past 10 minutes. And I think I caught the tail end of a fight with Scorpion. We'll get to all that stuff in a second. But I did not know what happened. You know, and the next thing you know, Spider-Man is seeing Florence Pugh in the sauna place or whatever. I'm still a little bit out of it. From there, I was locked in. But then it wasn't until I watched the new Rockstars video that kind of went through all the different things. It was a great recap. And it's showing all these, like, this montage of fight scenes that Spider-Man had and how they were kind of recreating different covers of comic books and stuff. And I was like, don't remember that. Don't remember that. Don't remember that. So, but I caught up by the YouTube video, kind of.
Let's want to dive in.
Yeah, let's do it. As always, we have a bunch of categories that we're going to go through, chat about a bunch of different things, and I'm sure it'll bring up some great conversation. So, first category is the Hill Valley Clock Tower Award for favorite scene. And there's a bunch of things, dude. I mean, there's only so many we can talk about, but I have 3 fight scenes and then a non-fight scene, and you know, so we'll do our honorable mentions and our winner. Why don't you get started?
Well, why don't you start? I'm going to start with the opening sequence of the movie with the montage of Spider-Man. Spider-Man doing those fights. It felt so comic booky. You know what I mean? It really did. I know you have no idea what I'm talking about right now, but like,
well, I mean, really I do from the YouTube video. I was tempted to put it on the list and act like I saw it, but I just have to be honest on this podcast.
It was just a really fun like montage. It was a good way to like. Because they go through 4 years. Because MJ and Ned go through all of college. Shout out MIT. Knew a lot of the things they were talking about over there. But they were doing, you know, their 4 years. And he was fighting some different villains. Some stuff you recognize from like comic books. And he would just kind of go back to his little attic apartment place. Talk with that woman police chief. And just kind of be your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Which is, you know, goes all the way back to the cartoons that we watched in the 90s. And stuff. So I really like that opening sequence a lot.
It seemed like a sequence that I would really like. So in spirit, I'm going to agree that it's on my honorable mentions. And I'll catch it the next time I watch it. But it seemed like a great way to bridge the gap on the time difference that we had. And then just kind of set things up for the movie. Because it is a lot different. It's like a smaller Spider-Man movie in that sense. Where it's like really focused on fighting crime and stuff in New York City.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm torn over the next one. Because one's going to be my winner. And one's going to be an honorable mention. And I am going to go with freaking shit. I'm going to go with the prison fight scene at the end. I don't want to jump the gun on that. I know it's a big scene. That might be your favorite. The part that I specifically liked was the fighting scenes between Spider-Man and the Hand, which is that group of ninjas. And you know what it reminded me of? I don't know if it reminded you of any of this stuff.
Exactly what you're going to say.
It reminded me of Matrix Reloaded.
100%.
Just like the scenes where, you know, you have like them like this different, like they're in the air, they're kind of jumping at Spider-Man, and just the cinematography, the fights, I just very, very enjoyable scene from that point of view. Obviously, you enjoyed it.
I mean, I'm splitting hairs here, but that was actually my winner. I thought the fight sequence between the Hand and him, it so reminded me of The Matrix. It was such an... That was, I think, one of the better action sequences in Marvel. Just how it was filmed and the content of it and, like, how he was, you know, becoming, like, a real spider arachnid or whatever versus, like, Peter and how he was able to, like, harness the power and still control himself at that level. I thought was such a cool, great fight scene, how he did it all with his mask off. That sequence was just incredible from an action standpoint.
Yeah. You can tell that I'm kind of torn over which direction to go with it. Like, I agree. Like, of course, it could be the winner. It's like the climax of the movie, you know, and again, the choreography was so good. It was just, I thought it was a great ending sequence to the movie. All the stuff with Jean Grey, too, which we'll get to her in a few. Like, it had big impacts on things as well. But there was just one scene from a fight point of view that I think I liked a little bit more, but it is kind of splitting hairs.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll talk about it. Next up for me, the first scene with the tank. The tank going into the damage control building and Spider-Man, as you first see Frank, the Punisher, and Spider-Man goes in there and gets into the tank. But there was one specific moment where, like, the tank is going into the building and Spider-Man, like, saves a group of people by, like, putting webs on the ground and almost, like, lasso, like kind of like do-si-dos them off to the side. And I thought that whole sequence of that happening meant to the reveal of the tank opening, there being an old woman in it, and then your first sequence of going person to person. Now, what did that remind you of? I mean, people have been talking about it, so like,
I haven't made a connection yet.
It reminded me so much of Denzel Washington's movie Fallen. Remember that movie?
I do. I haven't seen that movie in forever, so it didn't come to mind, but I know what you're talking about now.
That's exactly like I'm like this because that movie's incredible. Absolutely awesome concept where the devil was like going from person to person. They had to touch them, I think, in order for that transfer to happen. But like how people were moving, how you didn't know who it was at that point. The first introduction of that power, I thought was just a really awesome sequence for that.
Okay. Do you want me to go? I don't know how many more things you have. I have two more honorable mentions. Okay, so we have a whole bunch of different things. Okay, I loved the scene in the apartment with Spider-Man, Ned, and MJ. I freaking loved every second of it. I mean, there was a whole bunch of like Ned stuff that I really liked in particular. You know, I loved like the Spider-Man wall he had. I love the note on there. It said, I don't know if you saw it. It said like, you know, the rumor that Spider-Man has a British accent. It was a little like an Easter egg, obviously, to Tom Holland's regular accent. But there was one time when I think they were, and this is kind of jumping all around with like, I'm just kind of lumping in Ned and MJ stuff. There was one time when I think they were taking the Hulk after the fight scene that they just had, and Ned's watching it on his computer and he's like crying. I don't know if he was like teared up seeing like Bruce Banner being wheeled away. And then ultimately to the time that they spent in that apartment, it's kind of like the old days where they're making Legos and MJ sitting on the couch. Like I just thought that was like home run type scenes.
The chemistry between those three is just insane. How good it is. And you can tell, I mean, two of them are married. You know what I mean? And Ned is like, I think they're both very, very close in real life and stuff. And I thought,
are they really?
Yes. I mean, I know when Amy Poehler interviewed Tom Holland on her podcast, she always has somebody come on before to talk good behind the person's back. And it was Ned. And they were talking about what good friends they are and how good of a person Tom Holland is and that sort of stuff. But when they were just talking about, like, they were like Lord of the Rings quotes and they were, he was telling Peter was so happy because he was so isolated for 4 or 5 years, didn't want to get close to them. And it was just a good, really feel good moment.
Yeah. Right up until the end when they like did their handshake at the end too, like that was a great little, and I don't know if that's something that you bring up, but like just ultimately like any time that they were on screen together, I just thought was great.
No, we can talk about that part later as well. But yeah, just a really good scene. Because the one thing that freaking drove me crazy about the third movie, and this is what like brings it down for me, is how Ned got Doctor Strange's powers. And how he like mastered, like where like Doctor Strange had a whole movie of like training and like a whole thing to learn how to do that. Ned could just like figure it out. That was one plot hole that drove me nuts in the third movie. It's just a really good Ned movie.
Totally. What else you got?
Okay, let's go. All right, one of my other favorite ones here, when MJ was being mind controlled, like on the rooftop scene. I don't know if this is on your list but this scene was so diabolical. Got like legit goosebumps when she kissed him and said, "Peter," and like said, and Tom Holland's acting in that was so authentic. It came across so good. And then when they hugged and you saw MJ's face change and you realized it was Jean the whole time, like holy cow. I thought that was such a great sequence. One of my favorites of the whole movie.
Yeah, that was really good. I think diabolical is a great word to use. Like Jean was like, she was feeling it in that moment. So another great scene for sure.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. This is a very small thing, but I really enjoyed the Jean Grey reveal, and I had no freaking clue. No clue. Like, going into the movie, I thought Sadie Sink was going to be, who's like the other love interest, the redheaded one. I forget her name off the top of my head.
No, is that what it is? Oh, Gwen Stacy?
Gwen Stacy? Yeah, I thought maybe that's what...
Mary Jane.
Oh, she...
Yeah, doesn't matter.
Anyways.
The fact that you did not know this is honestly unbelievable. How you did not know that Sadie Sink was Jean Grey is incredible of you.
I was locked in, dude. I didn't know anything. So I went there, I figured they'd explain it. I kind of forgot she was in the movie. Not really, but like I figured she'd be like another love interest, like a new love interest for Tom Holland. Now that MJ is like out of the picture, and I didn't know how it would all kind of play out. Then obviously you see Jean Grey's face in the car, but you didn't know it was her. And then it got to the point that they revealed that she was Jean Grey. I was like, holy shit, like that's freaking great.
Jean Grey until it literally had that thing where they were doing the background facial recognition thing, and it said Jean Grey. You did not, like when you knew she was taking like mind control, you didn't know that was Jean Grey.
No freaking clue. Dude, wow. I guess I'm not up to speed on my X-Men comics because, I know who Jean Grey is. Like, I can picture, like, Jean Grey from my childhood.
Yep.
You know, but like I don't know specifically like what her powers are. Like I don't like read the comics. Like I probably haven't seen Jean Grey in an X-Men movie in freaking 20 years. You know what I mean? So like, yeah, for whatever reason, I might just be an idiot, but I did not connect the dots on that being Jean Grey. And when they said it, I was like, that's great, dude. Like what a great reveal, like a great setup for the future of Marvel Cinematic Universe. So anyways, I thought that was very cool, even though it was like a small thing.
Even when that happened, and I did know it was, or I had a good hunch it was coming, and then once the powers happened and stuff, but even that, like, Jean Grey, I clapped. Like, there was applause in the theater I was at. People were like, that was awesome. And Sadie Sink, let's talk about her for a minute. You know what I mean? She's so good at playing someone who's been traumatized and like has to like cry and like work through her emotions. You know, I don't know if I can see Sadie Sink in like a rom-com or like as a funny character, but this character, she did such a great job of feeling bad for Jean Grey because she did some pretty terrible things too.
Totally.
The MJ thing was one, and then maybe you can segue into one of my favorite scenes is the end of the movie when she basically freezes all of New York City. People definitely died, right? I imagine people have had to have died when that happened.
Yeah, so she caused some deaths. And the MJ thing was fucked up. Like from her point of view. Yeah.
Next level stuff. What did you think of Sadie Sink? It's just like, you know, your first real thing outside of Stranger Things, seeing her.
She was awesome, dude. She was great. I thought, you know, we'll get into it later on, but like I thought she was awesome. Great casting. Like I was happy for her to be in a big movie like this. And it just shows me that she has a great future in this universe and probably just like in her career in general in Hollywood.
Quick side tangent. Did you watch any of the stuff from D23 from this past weekend?
No.
Do you know anything about the other cast members? Wow. Our algorithms are complete. I would love to know what your algorithm is at this point.
So, I mean, geez, it might just be pickleball running stuff at this point.
Our girl, Indy Navarrete, is cast as Rogue.
Okay, yeah, I did see that. That. Right. Yeah, that's awesome. Good for her. I did see that on like IGN. IGN posted something that she was cast. I didn't see any other commentary on it, or I didn't see like, I don't know if she went on stage and was announced or anything like that, but
she went on stage.
Did. So that's awesome. I did see like a still image though that IGN posted that she was cast. That freaking good for her, man. So it's awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, it's great. So that movie's not coming out till 2028, and we can talk about, you know, again, like her ending of this movie. You know, we'll talk about that maybe in questions later. But yeah, man, awesome stuff. Great stuff.
Okay, so I'm down to my winner right now. I don't know where you're at right now. If you have multiple,
I have two left, and I have a feeling maybe that your winner is also one of mine. So I'll say the other one I love. I love the hospital scene at the end with Frank and Peter in the hospital. You know, when they were talking. And Frank was being sentimental, and we talk about Bernthal and the Punisher. I thought was just an absolute home run in this movie. I thought he was 100%. So funny. I laughed out loud audibly, which is redundant to say, but like he was very funny in this movie. And that heartwarming moment at the end was great, up until the point where even he already put the mask on in the window and was pretending he was Spider-Man as Peter Parker was walking out. Just funny, heartwarming moment. I thought that was really good.
I like that scene. I like that scene a lot too. And the kid gave him the web thing. And for a second, I wasn't sure if like people were cheering him. Obviously, they want you to think maybe that for a second. But like, I was like, did people get their memory back of you know Peter Parker? And obviously, he still has that anonymity. But he got a chance to be out there and see all the people cheering him on. It was cool.
Was that boy Miles? Was that boy Miles Morales? You know what I mean? Like that's like something out there. You know. So I'm anxious to see.
Not that one. Not the kid that did that. Might have been. There was another kid on a video that they speculated might be. But anyways, we can get to that stuff as we go.
So either way, there is a plan. There is Miles has been he is going to be in this universe sometime.
I heard they have to wait until Into the Spider-Verse wraps up.
Yeah.
Because that's focused on Miles Morales, and I think that finishes next year. Yeah. So Miles Morales can't be entered into the MCU until after that, so like 2028, but there's definitely
2028. I think Spider-Verse isn't coming out till 2028. It's been forever. You like those movies, right?
I saw the first one, never saw the second one.
Okay. Second one's incredible. First one's probably the best Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, I think that was a good one.
It's great.
But so anyways, I do know that Miles Morales is coming, but it's just the normal Hollywood contract stuff that they need to get past. So whether it's 2 years or 3 years that he enters, I'm sure that it's all kind of mapped out at this point.
So, all right, that's it. So we'll go with your winner, and we'll see if it's the one I have left.
So my winner, and it was a tough one for me because that other fight scene could have been it, but like I really enjoyed the fight scene where Jean Grey was controlling Hulk and the Punisher was there and Spider-Man was fighting in the Department of what was the Department of again?
Department of Damage Control.
Damage Control, yeah, Damage Control. Like it was, you get the Hulk there, who's a classic. I thought Frank the Punisher was the freaking man. So him being there, and then Spider-Man, like I just loved that scene. It was a great fight, a lot of good action, a lot of moving parts. It was probably my favorite looking back on it.
That was my other scene, so we are on the same page with that one. That had the best shot of the movie in it, was when Hulk was jumping up in the air, Spider-Man webbed the Punisher, grabbed the Punisher, and he goes underneath Hulk, and he's shooting his gun up.
Shooting him while he's on his back getting pulled.
While he's on his back, yelling or whatever. And it's like, that was the best shot of the movie, and just a really fun sequence. I have some questions about the Hulk, which we'll get to in a little bit too, but I did think that sequence was awesome, and how Jean was controlling the Hulk was a really cool moment too.
So when you look back at the movie though, I mean, we talked about 6 or 7 scenes. That's a lot. That's a lot of scenes for us to talk about as being like in the conversation for the Hill Valley Clock Tower Award.
Yeah.
That just speaks to how I think good the movie was from beginning to end, and how many memorable set pieces it had and touching moments. And yeah, it's like a lot of times I tend to gravitate towards like action scenes when we talk about this. But like even I was able to like pull some of the MJ stuff, the Ned stuff, you know, like you said, the moment when Peter's leaving the hospital, like some non-action scenes in combination with the action scenes that they did have, and I just thought it was great.
And a quick shot, I mean, we left out the scene, which could have easily put in there, but the one when MJ finds the note and like talks to Peter and like reads the note, and she's like, I have no recollection of you. I don't know who you are. I don't love you. And 25 years ago in that scene, MJ would have remembered by reading the note and like falling in love, but that's not how this scene played out. And it was really that interesting sequence. And just again, like, man, and Tom Holland, just good for them. Like, obviously they're married, and like it shows their chemistry in this movie. It's really a pleasure watching them on screen together. It really is. So
yeah. All right. Awesome category to talk about. Next one we have is the Bill Pullman Award for Best Speech or One-Liner. I really only have like one little thing here. I struggle with this award lately in the movies that we've seen. But what do you have? Do you have a lot of things here?
I said 2 things. One of the funniest things, I thought maybe the more like quotable things you could quote out of this movie was our girl Florence Pugh, as now they're calling her the Black Widow or whatever.
Yeah, I was confused by that.
Yeah, also, they call her the Black Widow, Yolanda or whatever, but she's like, small baby potatoes. I'm more big potato brain stuff. I thought that was funny. I thought small potatoes and I'm more big potatoes kind of thing was funny. It was a good, like nod to the audience. Like, this is its own movie, its own thing, but don't forget this, like, greater universal threat and all that kind of stuff is, like, the bigger arch of MCU type stuff. So I thought that was a really fun scene, and definitely made me want to watch the Thunderbolts.
Yeah,
because that one
I have not finished the Thunderbolts.
You started it.
I started it. I'm probably 2/3 of the way through, and just life gets in the way. You start watching other things, but I'll probably finish it now too. Now that I've seen this, so
she's very funny. She's very funny. Like when she's like, oh, the new Avengers are doing. Like, you can tell that she's very funny in this. So. Yeah.
I only have one scene for this, and it was the scene that Ned and Spider-Man were in the apartment, and they start like quoting the Gandalf thing, Lord of the Rings, kind of finishing each other's sentence in that. Like that's just like old buddies, like something me and you would do, quoting something, making the voices, all that stuff. Like I enjoyed that. Not that it was like a memorable speech what they said, but just kind of how they interacted and what they quoted.
I completely that was just a really feel good moment. I absolutely love that. The only last thing I have is just in Peter's letter, which kind of stood out, and they used it, I think, in the trailer too, was that sometimes Spider-Man has to do the hard thing, even if it breaks Peter Parker's heart. And that was kind of the whole theme of this movie of Spider-Man completely putting Spider-Man's needs ahead of Peter Parker's. And for years, he did the thing that he thought was the right thing. So, again, is it Bill Pullman level line or speech? No. You know what I mean? I don't think there is anything from this movie, but that's
not many things are Bill Pullman speech level at this point, but he is the inspiration for the award. Yeah.
Yeah. Very good point there. So, yeah, moving along.
Okay, next thing. Jar Jar Binks Award for worst character, scene, or subplot. Dude, I actually like struggle with this, to be completely honest with you. Like, I'd be interested in what you said, but like, I don't have a worst character. And the scenes or subplot stuff are more like the next award that we have, more like kind of nitpicky things that I think are kind of funny and they don't quite add up. But like in terms of like part of the movie, I was like, we could do without that. Like I didn't personally see that, but I'd be interested in what your thoughts are there.
The only thing I had that I don't think hit quite well was the damage control stuff. I don't think that was a very strong part of the movie. This movie now falls into the one thing where there really wasn't a true villain in this movie. You know, our guy, Tillman, who played Metzger, was like really the villain, but he wasn't like a big bad. You know what I mean? Jean Grey was the villain for 75% of the movie and stuff. I just don't think the stuff with damage control landed perfectly. And if I'm going to have a weak link of this movie, that's where I would say the weak link would be.
I could see that. Yeah, they obviously needed Department of Damage Control as a plot device to move things along and kind of get the pieces in place where they needed them to be. But yeah, I agree. It's not the strongest part of the movie.
Do you remember the Department of Damage Control and other MCU stuff?
I do not.
Yeah.
I'm not the best. Like, at this point, though, like, dude, I've probably missed, like, more than half of the last 10 Marvel movies, though. You know? So, like, if it was in there someplace, like, I could have easily missed it. But, like, the DODC was not something I had anywhere and stuff. Do you?
First off, great job saying the DODC. That was impressive.
Dominated that.
Very impressive. You just let that roll off the tongue. It came off in Homecoming with, that was like, they were the group that shut down Michael Keaton's construction company or whatever, which kind of got him.
But like, that was more like a mention, was it? Or like, maybe I just had like
they talked to him at the beginning of the movie and stuff, and the Department of Damage Control came in and stuff. And then the Department of Damage Control plays a big role in the series Wonder Man, which is fantastic, which just got canceled, which is banana land.
It got canceled? I know you love that.
What?
I know you loved it. I think Disney's moving away from live action stuff on Disney Plus.
Yeah, they need to cut back, and that was where they kind of lost the plot with that stuff. But they played a big role in that. I just don't. Would this movie have served better from like a big bad? I don't know. You know, you would have had to take away the Jean Grey stuff. But you know, Tillman, who we love, it just wasn't like that. They didn't like tie a bow perfectly, I feel like, in this movie.
Yeah. Seeing him introduced on screen, which again, I didn't know he was in this movie, dude. I'm freaking bad. I'm like out of the loop lately.
That makes it more fun.
I love that guy. You know, so when he was on screen, I'm like, freaking, it's gonna be awesome having him on there. And it was good, but it wasn't like the best thing ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I was happy to see him in there.
Do you have anything?
What's that?
Do you have anything?
I do not have anything for this one. So I'm glad you brought that up, but no characters that I would cut. I didn't love Scorpion. Like, I mean, that's our boy from Breaking Bad. Like, I wouldn't cut him. He's, you know, served a little bit of a purpose, but like, I didn't have like any attachment to him as a character or having him back. And there's just no scene or subplot, in my opinion. So anyways, I like the DODC stuff. It's worth mentioning, but I have a couple more things for the next award if you're okay moving on to that one.
But real quick, the only time you saw Scorpion, because Scorpion was in the montage at the beginning, and you remember that?
I think I woke up and they had like another fight scene. It wasn't a montage fight scene. It was outside that building, and that's like where it came to.
Okay. It was the end of the montage then, I think.
Yeah, maybe it was. I don't know. Honestly. Okay. But, like, I did see them fight. No, they fought in the street at one point. Did he rip off his tail at some point?
That was when he was being controlled by Jean Grey.
Yeah.
So the point is, I'm saying if you only saw Scorpion during when he was controlled by Jean Grey.
So I think I came out of my slumber the first time you saw him, and then we saw him again when he was being controlled by Jean Grey.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, but yes, I agree. You know, definitely a very, very, very minor character. I just love Nacho so much.
Nacho. Okay. So, I always enjoy this next category. It's Rocky's fighting in Russia on Christmas Award for the things that don't quite add up. Nitpicky stuff, questions that you have. I have a couple things here. I'd be interested in how many you have.
I got four things that, you know, that kind of...
Four. Okay, I have two things. You go first.
All right. The Hulk, okay? Can he control himself as Hulk or no? I am like a MCU pretty much like I've seen a lot of the stuff. I know the lore of comic books. Like in Ragnarok, he's like can totally control himself in Hulk. He can turn him but now he like can't get. So like, what the hell can the Hulk do? And like, when can he control himself and when can't he?
It's a great question. I mean, he seems like he needs that thing on his wrist to control himself. But I have also been confused.
Was that just a plot device to get the thing that Peter Parker had to then like create? You know what I mean? Because I thought he already solved him being Hulk and him not being Hulk thing. So I was confused by that.
I don't know if I missed something in some of the recent movies where it led to him losing control again. Because, I thought there was a time where he could be like a thoughtful talking Hulk, right? Like just be in Hulk form and still, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I do not know that, but it's a great question, and one that I assume is answered out there that I missed. But it is confusing if you missed it and then you're just like, wait, what a second, this guy doesn't have control when he's Hulk.
The only one it must have been in is Captain America, because in the Winter Soldier, or whatever the most recent one is, because he's in that and he fights Red Hulk. You know what I mean? And like, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like, that's just, is confusing to me. I still don't get it. 20, 30 something movies later, I still don't quite understand.
I know. All right, you want one of mine?
Yeah, go on yours.
And this is probably answered someplace, but where does Peter get his money to live at this point? Like,
great question.
Did Tony Stark set up a trust fund for him or something that I don't know about? But like, he's functioning, surviving, has some pretty decent tech. Not like some of the stuff he used to have, but like, how's he paying his rent? Where's he making money from?
He'd be stealing money from the bad guys that he's corralling. That's the only thing I can think of. Like, I don't know how. It's a great question. It's a very, very good point, because he's not working. He's staying in the apartment all day. Yeah, it's a really good question.
He's got a pretty good 3D printer. He's got some supplies. Like, I don't know.
You know who the woman voice was for his robot
Evie?
Or whatever? Yeah, Evie.
No, I do not. Who was it?
Naomi Watts was.
Well, I did see that in a video. I guess Tom Holland and Naomi Watts were in Tom Holland's first movie together. I forget what it's called, but like
the tsunami one or whatever. So they're close and stuff. So it was good. It's a good little Easter egg in that too. But it's a great point. So great point. So
that's cool. So anyways, all right, what else?
Peter made the connection between Sarah and like Jean Grey's being taken advantage of very quickly. Like he remembered that she said Sarah, and then all of a sudden webbed back to like save Jean Grey. Like that was I felt like a very big leap of.
Well, when MJ said that it went by like that when she was being controlled by Jean Grey, and
yes,
I mean it was pretty obvious too. Like when Metzger said that explanation, that it was kind of like, all right, that doesn't quite add up to what was going on there. So, but yeah, dude, you can't. He's smart.
Very quick. He's very smart. Like he's like Einstein level smart. Like how he like in that conversation between him and like Banner was really pretty good.
Well, yeah, and then also with Ned about the stuff that like makes up his web stuff, and he was like. Yeah, I don't know if that's addressed specifically. Is it? Did he get like super intelligence as part of his powers, or I don't know. Like I just don't know how that stuff works. But he definitely is very smart.
Good question. All right.
So what else you got? Because you have two more. I have one more.
Another one. Two others. In Banner's class. All right. When the girl brings up a fantastic point about Thanos of why didn't Thanos just snap double the food instead of kill half the population. Great point. Fantastic point. Then Banner's like pointing to a guy dressed in things like Hulk smash. And he's like, enough said. Didn't get that at all. Because it definitely wasn't enough said. And I didn't follow the rationale of how that happened. Did you?
To move on from that? Yeah, that was his exit from the conversation.
Yeah. So I thought that was like a kind of interesting thing. But great point by that girl about why Thanos didn't just wish for that instead of wanting to kill half the people.
That is great. Like I almost wonder if like someone sees that question posed on like a Reddit message board or something, and like they're like, oh yeah, that is a good idea. I'm going to address that in the movie, but not really address it, obviously.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like that famous like Ant-Man like Reddit theory of like why didn't Ant-Man just like go into like Thanos' butt and then like make himself big and then just like explode? You know what I mean? Like that one.
A well thought out idea though. Well done. Freaking great.
Yeah. Sorry. What do you got?
All right. So you have one. You have one more. I have one more.
Correct.
All right. So how does the Spidey tracker thing work again? Is that a reported thing? Like people like note the thing, or does Ned have a tracker on Spider-Man? Like
the science behind it is baffling. I don't have an answer for it.
Well, the reason, and it's easy enough to like suspend disbelief when you're in New York and like, oh yeah, in my head I had it as like a thing where people like report Spider-Man and it shows up, but then if you saw the after credit scene where there's one in like outer space someplace, like how the hell is the spider tracker doing that? An unanswerable question, but it did make me wonder how that thing works.
So what did you think that meant?
I have no freaking clue what that means. A Spider-Man from a different universe. I saw something where like, okay, maybe like Tom Holland Spider-Man was transported there as something that you would see in Doomsday. I honestly don't know. What do you think of that?
So there's a massive, first off, when it said Spider-Man will return, I was just on the edge of my seat waiting for in Avengers Doomsday to come on screen.
Yeah.
It never came, or whatever. There is no way in hell that Tom Holland isn't in Doomsday. He's in zero advertising, zero anything. There's no way he's not in this, right? Like zero.
There's freaking 50 people in that movie.
Including, there's strong rumors, very much so, that Tobey Maguire's in this movie. So,
back to that. I mean, a big part of this Doomsday Secret Wars storyline is like this multiverse scenario, which I think comes to an end after Secret Wars. So yeah, why wouldn't he be in it?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't Alexander What's-His-Face be in it too? You know, like they've already been introduced in previous movies. Like all of this shit has to come to a head. Throw 100 people in this movie. Why not? Tom Holland has to be in it.
But yeah, back to your tracker thing. It's a good question because it got to the point where even you could tell the tracker was like, "Oh, Spider-Man's like really close," and it was when he was in his apartment, and he's like, "Hey," you know what I mean? Like, so it's pretty good tech that Ned has. So
yeah. So, anyways, that's my main one.
Last one, the Punisher's shot at the end. How the hell did it know where he was shooting? Like, there was not one point in that sequence where like you could see Peter or Jean Grey or anything, and that shot was perfect. That was incredible. I didn't know. Did you know what I'm talking about?
I know exactly what you're talking about, man. It's a freaking great shot, dude. I don't know how he pulled it off, man, but he's the Punisher, dude. So
yeah, that I thought was really interesting how he was able to pull that off. So that was my.
So do normal bullets not get Spider-Man, but like the bullet from a sniper rifle? Like I didn't quite. I lose track of like people's powers. Like Hulk can't be shot with bullets. It seems.
Yeah, that was funny when Peter's
just
like
unloaded on him.
Yeah, Frank said, "What are you gonna do? Tickle him to death?" You know what I mean? Like that's not gonna like do anything to him. I don't think bullets hurt Spider-Man. It just doesn't get hit.
Okay, obviously, I almost freaking killed him in this case, but I was a little bit surprised by that. But I do lose track of like who is impervious to bullets and who isn't in these comics. You know, so apparently Spider-Man can be shot. Okay,
no, that's it for me.
Okay, love it. Good ones. That's one of my favorite things to discuss, like poking fun at stupid things, but nothing bad. It's all in good fun. All right, next thing, the Han Solo Award. This is the award for scene-stealing character. I have two, and there's only so many people we can really talk about, but why don't I go first with my honorable mention?
I got three. So let me just mention my one real quick. I did have Scorpion, only because I saw him on screen. I'm like, Nacho, good for you. I'm happy you're working. You're getting a paycheck. Better Call Saul, still arguing one of the best shows of all time. So I'm just happy that Michael Mando, I think is his name, he's a good actor, and I was happy to see him. That's it. Now you can go.
I can get on board with that, dude. I freaking love that guy, too. And I had the similar thought where I was like, I was just happy to see him get a paycheck, dude, to be a part of the universe. So, but for me, I'll go with my first honorable mention. And it was Sadie Sink as Jean Grey. She was my honorable mention. She might be your winner. She might be in none of these things for you. But, like, I thought she was very, very good in this. Great emotional punch, like, very believable as her character. And I was like, I thought she was awesome. So, for me,
she's a really good actress. You know what I mean? And I think coming out of Stranger Things, we said who's the one that's most likely gonna have a career post Stranger Things. We said Sadie Sink, and she's just really good. You know what I mean? And I hope I can see her in other movies outside of like superhero type stuff. But yeah, she's a star, and you know Disney's gonna be riding her for a while now.
Yeah, I mean, she probably is gonna be in like 10 movies for the MCU over the next decade.
Yeah.
And I thought she owned that role, and I think she's going to continue to own it. Like, I really enjoyed the scene with her and her sister in the park.
Yeah.
Seeing that point of view. So, yeah, dude. I mean, she was in a good amount of the movie, but, like, in my opinion, she stole the scene she was in.
Yeah. All right, my honorable mention is, I mentioned her earlier, Florence Pugh as Black Widow. I thought, like, she really is, like, the definition, I feel like, of this award that comes in for, like, 5 minutes, throws 100, and just is fantastic. You know what I mean? Like, she's in 2 scenes. Both scenes she's awesome in. The hot tub thing was funny. The accent, the way she talks, her confidence, I just think she's just awesome. And again, it made me want to go watch her movie.
So she is the epitome of this word, probably, the way you described it. I don't love her character. I never have. Okay. I don't know what it is. Like, it's not like I hate her character. I'm kind of indifferent to her as a character in the MCU, just not my favorite. So maybe I was like biased against putting her in this, but the way you described that is kind of like the definition of this award. So she did come in hot. So I'm glad you brought that up.
We probably have the same winner.
Frank Castle?
100%.
Punisher? No?
100%.
Yeah,
he's so good.
I think I had him. I think he was my scene stealing award winner for freaking The Odyssey too. I freaking love Jon Bernthal. The guy,
Bernthal guy. Yeah, he's the man. He is so funny in this movie. And I've only seen the Punisher, I think, in a few Daredevil stuff. Because the Punisher is a gruesome, violent, profane, like, guy. he's dialing it back in this movie to like be more like funny, but he's like the funniest part of this movie. And his chemistry with Tom Holland, who are very close in real life, again, very, very, very good friends, it just comes through in this movie.
So I've never seen this character on screen. I haven't watched Daredevil. I haven't watched The Punisher or whatever, which is on Disney Plus. The way you felt about maybe Florence Pugh and going to watch the Thunderbolts is maybe kind of how I feel about The Punisher now. I was like, I think I want to go watch those shows. Like, I thought he was like the right combination of like a freaking badass, but like there was like a little bit of like an emotional, thoughtful side to him. You know, the way he looked out for Peter Parker and Spider-Man. I thought he was awesome. In 5 minutes of screen, but in my opinion, he was the...
Yeah, me too. You know, so I mean, there's not much more to say about it. He just did a great job. And even at the end, you know what I mean? Where he's like, when Peter and him are talking and he's like, do you think I chose this? Do you think I want to live this way? I mean, he has family murdered, you know, he lives by himself. He's always like going out for vengeance. Like he doesn't feel good. You know what I mean? And then kind of became the father figure for Peter in this movie. And at the end, delivered with that hospital scene. He's a really good actor, and this was very funny. It was a very funny movie. Very fun for him. So pulled at all the heartstrings.
I'm glad we're on the same page there. So next award, the Adonis Creed Award for the character most deserving of a spinoff. And for me, I don't have high conviction around my choices here, and I'll be interested in what you think. How many spots do you have for this?
I have one, only one for this one. So you want to go?
I actually want you to go. And then I'm sure it's going to be one of my two.
It's kind of like tough because there is going to be a spinoff and there's going to be a whole series like we just talked about based off of it. But like, who's the character I want more of after this movie? It's Jean Grey. So like, I mean, that's the one I'd want to pick. And I would be interested in her prequel and like more stuff with her sister and her family and how she got, you know, how she became a mutant and that kind of stuff. But X-Men is so iconic of a comic book and of a movie series from us growing up that like give me more Jean Grey, give me this iteration of Jean Grey. So I think
totally.
That's what I'm all in for.
So that's my winner, and it feels weird to pick someone that deserves a spin-off when you know that there's going to be in like the next 10 movies. Like it's like obviously she's a spin-off. She's in there to be spun off, to lay the tracks for what's going to come in the future. But like easy winner for me. My honorable mention is it's not really even a joke, but like I guess if I had to throw someone else out there, maybe Bill Metzgar in the DODC and learn a little bit more about them. But I really don't care that much about it for the same reason that you already thought that they're weak link, but maybe there's a story to tell in there someplace. But I think Jean Grey's the easy winner there.
Yeah. I mean, again, when you have an actor that much, you know, that's playing Metzger, it's so good, it's so charismatic. I think anytime you get him more on screen would be good, you know, and maybe it would make me feel a little bit more. But he was a really not a good dude, not a good guy. So, but yeah, good point.
Yeah. So, anyways, easy winner there. Next up, Jack Burton MVP Award for the most valuable character in the movie. Again, just noted that you like to pick obscure concepts. Here, I typically pick actors. What do you got?
I got two things. One is the clear winner, and the second one is I picked Marvel. Marvel has been getting its ass kicked for years, like really falling off, not delivering, losing money at the box office. And again, I know this is in association with Sony, so it's tough to like say that, but like it's very much Marvel. So
I like that as a pick. Not what I was thinking, but I agree with you, and I'm glad you brought it up. For me, it feels like a cop-out a lot of times when you pick this award, because it's like, for me, who you would think it would be. Like, I thought Tom Holland was amazing in this again as Spider-Man. So, like, for me, it's like he's an easy MVP. He may have already been there at this point, like, before this movie came out, but, like, I do think he's, like, the definitive Spider-Man at this point, right? Like, he was already there probably 2 movies ago. Probably freaking Avengers Endgame ago. But, like, he's having a legendary run as Spider-Man, and this movie just further cemented that. In my opinion.
He is the face of Marvel. He is what brings people to the seats. And he to me, he's like, you know, Toby was obviously my guy, but you know, Tom Holland is you know, unseated him as the number 1 Spider-Man that I love. When I think of Spider-Man, I think of Tom Holland. You know, I think he has a hard time shedding Peter Parker and other things. I still think he was awesome in, you know, the Odyssey and stuff. But like, he's a definitive Spider-Man. He brought in $1 billion movie. I don't think many other people could do that. And Spider-Man was the first movie that came out after Endgame. There was No Way Home that came out after Endgame. Marvel has to ride this guy. He has to be like, I think, the face. Because like even guys like Thor, you know how I feel about the Fantastic Four and all these things they're pushing for in Doomsday isn't quite getting me as excited as Spider-Man would.
Yeah. I think he's still a number 2 to Robert Downey Jr., I don't know what your thoughts are, or if you think he's superseded him, but like I think he'll always be like the number one Marvel guy, face of Marvel, at least in my mind. But like I think Tom Holland is definitely number two at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, I we can talk about that. I want to talk about one more thing after we do the last award.
Okay, cool. All right, last award then. Shawshank Lasting Impact Award. Will this movie matter in 10 years? What's the legacy of this movie? Where are you at with that?
Well, I mean, it's just looking at the box office, maybe this will be like the time movies came back, like in like reality. Like you really look at the box office numbers and people going to droves in movies. I think it solidifies Tom Holland as like the definitive Spider-Man, which we just talked about. And Marvel was on a losing streak, and if Doomsday is good and they can learn from their past mistakes, this could be the pivot point of like them learning of kind of what the formula is and stuff. I think it will matter in superhero movies moving forward.
Like on a scale of like Marvel movies, yes. I think it's the one that springboards them into the last run they have until they close out the multiverse saga after the Secret Wars movie. So I think it's, again, springboard for the next few years of Marvel movies. So I think it'll always be looked at fondly for that reason. And then again, it's going to be a top 10 movie box office wise. So it's going to be a movie named for a long time. So yeah, it's not going to be like Avatar or just some like the best picture movie type things, but like in the sense of superhero movies, I think it'll have a good legacy.
Totally. Absolutely. Sorry, on the same page there. So my last thing I was going to ask you was about the Doomsday trailer. First off, have you seen the Doomsday trailer?
The one that was Doctor Doom heavy? Yes.
Okay, and what did you think with the German accent or the accent and Downey and all that stuff?
So I very much enjoyed it. I am going into that movie. I could see like there's two ways people could go into that movie and being like, this is stupid. Like they recast Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom because they're intellectually bankrupt and they're this is their last chance to kind of stay relevant or whatever. I'm going to kind of go into it with an open mind and like with an optimistic view. I think it's going to be awesome. And I love the trailer and I'm ready for it.
Yeah. Awesome. I liked it too. It got me excited. I don't know. I'm anxious to see how the hell they're going to do it. You know what I mean? Because they have to really build it up quickly. Like this is going to be a Doctor Doom movie. You know what I mean? Like they have to get to a point where like how the hell can Doom stop Thor's axe and then have the Sentinels like how I need to know. I'm anxious to see how Doom became Doom.
Yeah, they're going to have to address that right away. It's going to be it's going to be different than the other Avengers movie. Like they had many movies to build up the Thanos piece.
They did.
But like this is gonna be a lot different.
But you gotta remember, Thanos only had like 3 minutes of like screen time prior to Infinity War. And what they did, the opening of Infinity War was so good because of it. He killed Loki and kicked the shit out of the Hulk. And it like set the tone. Like right away. And Brolin was great. The one thing I'm not afraid of, but like I hope this isn't like a Pedro Pascal Mandalorian type thing where they have Downey, but they hide him behind a mask for 75% of the movie. You know, so they gotta have Downey be Downey in that sense.
Yeah, you gotta see his face. But yeah, that makes me think like I don't know how they're gonna do it. Obviously, but like it's a big thing that people talk about. But I'm gonna go in with a positive mindset about it, and I'm looking forward to how they do it.
Awesome. Yeah, great.
So we'll figure out what our next pod is, but a great way to wrap up the summer blockbusters. We'll talk soon, pal. All right?
All right, bud.